Episode 8, baby, we here. My man Jay, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man? Another back to back episode today. We're just quick with it.
It's back to back, bro. Drake, but not a freestyle.
Hey,
Uh,
hey,
thought that was corny. Not going. That was crazy.
it's all right.
So yeah, man. Obviously, a little shorter episode. We're just gonna talk a little bit about our hot takes for the season. You know, I got some spicy up the sleeve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some Raider stuff.
he definitely do.
Yeah, some some. It's hot takes, but it's actually realistic. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I'm saying. But and then after that as well, we're gonna get also into our NFL award predictions to just cap off the quick little show. My man Jay, start off the hot takes, man. What's number one?
Number one, for you or for me? Because I got my own list. So
No, we'll just go one by one.
One by one. Okay, so
not even like a ranking thing, just one by one.
No. I know what you mean. Well, my first hot take: C.J. Stroud will establish himself as a top 3 quarterback this season, as in above possibly Burrow, maybe above possibly Lamar. You know, right under Mahomes, of course, because Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. But I think Stroud could take a big jump. You know, last year, he had some decent stats. 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 5 picks. He's very good with his decision making. And I think with his leadership and how smart CJ seems, off the field, not even on the field, I think he's going to take a crazy jump. They added to that offense. So that's my first hot take. I think a lot of people like blow by CJ a little bit, to be honest.
Hey, CJ, is that really a hot take though, bro? Because
No, that's like what I mean. That's what I mean. But then there's people on the other side who are like, CJ's not really like that.
Nah, I feel you. I mean, I think it's CJ Stroud. Definitely.
That's why I said top 3, maybe even top 2. Because I feel like people naturally would put Burrow, Lamar, Josh over him.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could definitely play himself.
In your opinion, what do you have to see out of CJ Stroud for him to be in that top 3, top 2? What do you got to see?
Well, obviously, it's not all about stats, but I think you're gonna see a big jump in the stats. Especially with the acquisitions Houston had this offseason, along with, let's see if Stroud could take them a little further in playoffs. Let's see if he could get to the AFC Championship, maybe even a Super Bowl. It's not out of the question. But if he could get there, and play well, play smart, along with that defense Houston has, I see it.
Surely, I think for me, to even entertain putting CJ Stroud in the top 3 by the end of the year, I think minimal an AFC Championship berth, and he definitely got to be in like that MVP conversation, which he can't. No doubt they can't. He can, and overall the team around him, they definitely can make the AFC Championship. So yep. I see where you're headed, bro. I see where you're headed. It's a hot take, but it actually could happen. So
feel me?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. What's yours, man? What's yours?
All right. So my first one is, you know what? I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I have been ever since, he's came into the league. And you know what? I'm going with the Bills, man. I think the Bills Super Bowl appearance. You know what I'm saying? The Bills in the last few years, they've been really knocking on the door. I mean, really, if you look at it, it's been the Chiefs that have been in the way. Josh Allen just hasn't been able to get over the Mahomes thing. But I think this year they do it because it's the least expected. A lot of people think the Bills have gotten worse. They've obviously lost a lot of veteran pieces on their defense, obviously, just traded away Stephon Diggs. But for just some kind of way, I feel like this is going to be like the Josh Allen year where like no one expects it. I think he's definitely going to be, like every year, he's in the MVP conversation. But I think you look at this Bills team, yes, he lost Stephon Diggs, but like that's still a pretty like interesting offense. Talked about James Cook, obviously, Frank Gore Jr. as well. What he showed in the preseason at running back. You got Shakir at wide receiver. You got Curtis Samuel. We talked about the 2 tight ends, Dalton Kincaid coming into his second year, and also Dawson Knox. So they still have some real talent on that offensive side of the ball, and it's younger as well now around Josh Allen.
Yep.
Obviously, we recently talked about the Matt Milano situation. He's going to be out for some time. But you look at this team as a whole. Johnson, you got him at the corner. Was it Rashawn Douglas is there, I believe, as well. Yes, he lost, like I said, Micah Hyde, um, and Jordan Poyer, but it's still. I think overall this team, like, there's still legit talent on this team, and I feel like I don't know. It might be their year, bro. I might go with the Bills, man. Get Josh Allen a ring, bro.
Hey, I don't hate that take, especially being a hot take. And
Oh, and my bad. Not to cut you off. Also,
no, you're good.
Benford, the young cornerback as well. He's nice as well. So they got
For
a team
sure.
over there.
No, they do got a team, and well, shoot, what I was about to say was, um, no, I don't think a lot of people are going to pick Buffalo to win it this year.
Hmm.
And I think they're not a dark horse really, but I'd say an underdog for sure.
Yeah, and then you know what, man? You never know, man. You got Greg Russo as well, the pass rusher on the outside, and Von Miller might turn back the clock, man. He might have about
See
1
it.
year where he's just Von again. So
Let's see
look
it.
out.
Hey, to match yours with my second hot take, I got the Bengals going to the Super Bowl this year. Uh, I like that offense, man, that high-powered offense with Joe Burrow. Um, hopefully that O-line can stick through with protecting the guy. I think that's the number one concern, right? But at the end of the day, still a high-powered offense. You still got your wide receivers there for the big plays. They're always due. But what matters most is that defense, coming up with some big plays in some moments. And at the end of the day, protecting Burrow. But if all goes, push comes to shove with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they've been there before as well. So I think not really a hot take, but I don't really people are as high on the Bengals as they were previously.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to Joe Burrow's health. He's had the health concerns since he's came into the league. Obviously, the first year he was in the NFL, he missed basically the whole season, and then
Yep.
the year after he came back and they went to the Super Bowl. So there's no question when Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, this is a championship contender, AFC Championship team year in year out if he's healthy. So look, man, obviously LSU. We're not gonna talk about the loss that happened last night.
Hey,
It was definitely tough in the household yesterday. But
a little quiet time.
yeah, but I mean, Joe Burrow. We saw what he did in college, and we saw what he's done since he came into the league. Um, him and Jamar, when they're together and they're healthy, sky's the limit for them.
Not lying. Not lying. What's yours? What's your second hot take, my boy? Let me hear some.
All right, before I do that though, do you think? Let me ask you a question.
Uh,
Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl, right?
mhm.
Do you still feel like it's just Mahomes, or does Joe Burrow start to creep in there, or is it still Patrick Mahomes?
I think it's still Mahomes, but Joe Burrow wins the bowl. I mean, I think the talks will definitely start. But Joe Burrow's got to show up with some, as I say it, consistency.
Yeah,
Like not throwing him under the bus or anything, but Stafford, he got his ring. Do we see him getting any more? No hate to him, probably not. But not saying that was like a flash in the pan sort of thing. Kind of
hmm
was. But at the end of the day, if Joe wins a ring, continues to build upon it, he could come for that one spot. I don't see it. I don't. It's not hard to
uh,
see. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
What about you though? Like,
I mean,
think
it's
Mahomes
still.
got it?
I think whether it's Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, or Lamar, they got to win like two. They got to win two for me to
Right.
be like, all right, it's a conversation. I think if one of them wins it this year, then at least it becomes a little interesting. But
Yeah.
It's still Mahomes' league. Um, but I'm rooting for Joe on the inside, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That LSU love, man, and plus, like I said, look what they did, bro. The first
Yeah.
year he was healthy, they went to the Super Bowl, and that offensive line was like not good at all.
Yeah,
So
no, he was running for his life every play, but he was getting the throws off of his decision making. Joe Burrow's smart. Some plays you have to risk it, but at the end of the day, he got where he got.
yeah, yeah, that's true. All right, moving on. I got me a little bit of a. I'm sorry for all my people in New York. I talked about it. I love Aaron Rodgers. He's my favorite player growing up when it comes to the
Surprising.
football world. Um, but I got the Jets missing the playoffs. The Jets missing the playoffs is a hot take,
Oh,
and I
that
think
is
it's
that
at
is
the
one of
end.
them.
And at the end, it goes down as one of the most disappointing seasons, like for any NFL team, like ever. Um,
Okay.
I look at the Jets. Yes, on paper they have pretty much everything. There's no weakness outside of, you can probably say, safety maybe as the only spot where you have some question marks, but that's really it.
Yeah, you got a squad.
Um, but the Jets, like we talked about with the Bengals with Joe Burrow, it all hinges on Aaron Rodgers. The Jets have been competitive these last few years with not great quarterback play. I mean, pretty bad quarterback play. Out of respect for Zach Wilson, but if the Packers have, I mean, not the Packers, I'm thinking of the Packers. If the Jets have any chance of getting to where they want to go, Aaron Rodgers has to be upright. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to be elite, but he has to be upright. But a part of me feels like this is kind of like a huge hype train that
Okay.
throughout this season we're going to see them kind of potentially go. A lot of bumps in the road, potentially some injuries. Don't wish that up on anybody, but
Right.
like Tyron Smith, when healthy, elite left tackle. He's had injuries. You know what I'm saying? Morgan
Yes.
Moses at right tackle. Again, solid, but he's starting to age. We know about Aaron Rodgers. Mike Williams, extremely talented. What was his problem with the Chargers? Injuries, his health. So
Yep.
this could be one of those, like, remember that Philadelphia Eagles team some years ago when they had, was it Michael Vick? They had Donovan McNabb. You had
Yep.
the Brian Nnamdi Asamoah, and they were kind of creating this super team, and it kind of just they went like 8-8 or 7-9. So
It wasn't as good as they thought they were going to be.
yeah, and that's what they had Deshaun Jackson. I believe they had Shady McCoy too on that team. Like, that team was loaded. But the Jets, man, that my hot take, man, they missed the playoffs.
Hey,
Don't hate
man.
me. Don't hate me, Jets
Hey,
fans. Don't hate me.
hey, that's definitely a hot take, brother. A hot take I got, which you'll love. The Raiders will make it to the divisional round.
Yeah, this ain't no hot take. This is realistic, bro.
This is a hot take. With Gardner Minshew as your quarterback, I say you got a 50, not a 50-50 type of year, more like 50-50 type of games, where I think some games he'll be more consistent than not. Some games he'll miss throws. A lot of games they'll have to rely on the run game and not put up enough points. And that defense, at the end of the day, it's good from top to bottom, but they're going to get tired. You know, they can't be in all game. I see the same problem with the 49ers with when they had a bunch of injuries, right? You know, when your defense is on the field, they can't carry it the whole time. So that's my hot take. I think
I like the
you
hot
know
take. It's more like a realistic take.
calm down. You got the weapons, you got the D line, you got the secondary. Minshew, I feel like could pull through for some wins, and then maybe a little lucky AFC wild card win to get you on that divisional round. Going further though, absolutely not.
Well, you know what, man? Since we're talking about Gardner Minshew, man, why not me finish off the hot takes with
It's a great segue.
the Raiders? All right, so
Trash.
so look, man. Shout out to my man Gardner Minshew. Minshew Mania it's alive and well in Vegas. It's time.
All right.
I got my man Minshew leading this Raiders team to the playoffs.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And we're looking at stats specifically. I
Right.
see him throwing over 4,300 yards, 26 touchdowns,
Boy.
and just 11 INTs. You know what I'm saying? Just over double figures in picks. I think you look at Gardner Minshew last year specifically, that Colts team when he was there. When Anthony Richardson went out for the season, a lot of people wrote the Colts off. They're going to be in the lottery. They're not going to be good. He nearly took this team to the playoffs last year. And I would argue that this Raiders team offensively has more around him. So there's no doubt Minshew he's more athletic than Aiden O'Connell. He can make plays. He can escape the pocket. He can't push the ball down the field. The only thing with Minshew that makes you just hesitate is that he can be a little erratic and he can, turn the ball over from time to time. But I think with this team, the offensive line that we have, Cole Miller is back, man. He's healthy. Thank God I saw that, a few weeks ago that he's ready to roll. You got Tay, you got Trey Tucker, you got Jacoby Myers. Samir White looks like he's the next Hulk Hogan. I mean, probably should go to the WWE. But yeah, like, it's there for him to succeed. And all in all, I'm not saying they're going to Super Bowl or no division or nothing crazy like that. I'm just saying we're playoff bound. And by the end of the year, I think Minshew gets that contract extension. and he's the guy moving forward for the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me a
So
mustache. Hey,
I was gonna say
Raiders make
so
the.
no.
Hey, hold on.
Okay,
Hot take
no.
here.
I got a question. I got a
What?
question. So no Dak, no Shador, no Kyler, none of that. You're hot taking Minshew
Well,
for the
Minshew has
long
more.
term.
Minshew has more aura than all those dudes. Maybe not as much as Shador. Maybe not. Come on, man. The stash. Do you see the thing he did? Was the pregame huddle?
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
Bro. Dude, Minshew is he's top tier, man. He's top tier.
We'll see. We'll have to see.
But yeah, I think what I was gonna say. Raiders make the playoffs. I'm gonna say it right here now. Clip it up. I will rock the Minshew mustache. Raiders make the playoffs. Right now. Clip it up.
I'm gonna clip that up.
Clip it up. Clip it up.
It's clipped. It's clipped. And you don't even know it's clipped.
Oh, when Minshew was in the huddle, he was like, give a dog a bone. What's that saying? What's that like that reference?
Oh, no. I've heard it before, but I don't know the full.
I think I got it from like Jameis Winston or something, bro. It was funny. It was hilarious, bro.
Bro, he do got aura though.
Top tier.
I'm not gonna lie. But I think that's gonna end the hot takes.
Not so much hot, but okay.
Realistic
takes.
It's hot takes. It's definitely hot takes. But that's gonna end the hot takes. We want to thank y'all for joining that site. We got one more segment for y'all. And that's gonna be the NFL award predictions. Kayla.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go back, the 1 and 1 and 1.
Back and forth? Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we starting off at?
MVP, man.
Okay.
And this is kind of connected with my hot takes, technically. CJ Stroud.
I
got CJ
Stroud winning MVP?
I got CJ Stroud winning the MVP. Building off his year last year. I feel like he has a way better team. That O-line is pretty solid. You got the wide receiver room to go crazy. You got your security blanket with Schultz. You got a good running game to space the field out. And, building on last year, man, I think the stats are going to look something like 4,400 yards, 32 touchdowns. And Stroud's smart with the decision-making, man. So I think, 6 interceptions, but that's definitely a hot take. I know that's not a lot of people's opinion, but he definitely has the talent to get there. He's very smart. He's very patient. So
my MVP pick is I'm going with Dakota Prescott. Mr. Dakota Prescott, man.
Dakota Prescott.
Dak Prescott, man. He's been in the MVP conversations these last few years. He's putting up these numbers. I mean, 100%. Like, I think this is the year that Dak Prescott gets it. Obviously, a lot of people are saying, Dak doesn't really show up when the playoffs count. He's great in the regular season. And people have the right to say that because, in some ways it's true.
It is.
But I think this is the year where Dak puts it all together, especially with his contract situation. I think a part of Dak wants to show the Cowboys, hey, like, you guys better pay me or I'm going to get a lucrative contract next year. Watch how I do this. So
right.
I think Dak Prescott wins the MVP, and that's all she wrote. I was gonna say like, hey, future Raider Dak Prescott, but like I said, I gotta give respect to Minshew, man. I said,
you kind of contradicting your Minshew take right there.
Minshew is my guy. He's my guy right now.
All right, Minshew is your guy right now. Credit to you, my boy. But number 2, go Coach of the Year next.
Yeah.
Let's go Coach of the Year next. I actually got Harbaugh getting that Jim Harbaugh to be specific. I think they got a few games on their schedule that Herbert could put the team on his back. You still got Josh Palmer. They drafted McConkey. O-line's getting slightly better with Pipkins and Alt. It's just that defense. But Harbaugh is known to turn around these teams, man. I mean, in Michigan, saw what he did as a total record, 74-25. I mean, there's some credit there, 53-17 in the Big Ten. So, and leading them to, consecutive bowl games, Obviously, he led the Niners from what they were to a 13-3 season, and then the NFC Championship in 2011. We know Harbaugh is capable of turning teams around, and I think coming from a 5-12 season with the Chargers, I don't think they're going to be like extremely well, but the turnaround from last year, I think Harbaugh will deserve Coach of the Year 2 times. By the way, he was previously.
I mean, respect to Jim Harbaugh. He's one of the best coaches in football. We've seen it at the college level. We've seen it in the NFL. But that means if Jim Harbaugh wins, you think that the Chargers are actually going to be pretty good. What makes you think that the Chargers are going to be good, sir?
Herbert will put this team on his back. I rest my case.
How many wins? How many wins they get?
8 or 9.
Harbaugh's not winning Coach of the Year, bro. If they win 9 games,
we'll see.
Jim Harbaugh. I mess with Jim Harbaugh, but the Chargers not. Can't do it. Anyways, my Coach of the Year. I got Raheem Morris, man, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. No question. This is a playoff team. They're one of the dark horses. Look at this. They really filled it out this offseason. They obviously brought in Kirk Cousins to be their quarterback. We talked about Drake London. We've talked about Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson as well. The defense adding Justin Simmons, Matthew Judon, and got Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell. I mean, they got some real playmakers on both sides of the ball, and they are particularly young as well, outside of Judon and Justin Simmons. But this team, I can see them winning 10 or 11 games, and I think rightfully where from Atlanta has been in the past, they really have struggled, since the prime Matt Ryan era, and now with Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins, man, Atlanta Kirk leading the charge. I think Raheem Morris rightly deserves the Coach of the Year.
I like that.
Yo, Raheem, man. Shout out to Raheem, bro.
Shout out. And going on to number 3, we're going to cover Comeback Player of the Year.
This is my favorite one right here.
I think this one's simple for me because I project Aaron Rodgers having a healthy year. So I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers here. I think he will, despite your hot take, he'll lead the team to the playoffs. I
started laughing, bro. That's funny.
Yeah, bro. He's got great receivers around him. He's got a great runner game with Breece Hall. He's going to be doing plenty of dump offs. Aaron Rodgers, given his age, I know the questions around him and his health, but it's Aaron Rodgers. Great accuracy, great decision making, a very quick release. The O-line just got to hold up for the guy, and I think we're just going to see a solid version of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, man. Look, in all seriousness, I want to see Aaron Rodgers do his thing. I'm a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. I've said that already. It'd be great to see A-Rod do something with the Jets, especially because the Jets, everyone, cursed franchise, all this stuff that's gone on over the years. I want to see Aaron healthy, man, but I do have some questions.
I hear it.
I mess with Aaron now. Moving on. My Comeback Player of the Year, easily for me, is Nick Chubb. When Nick Chubb's healthy, you can make a case that he's the best running back in football. I know I did leave him off my top 10 running back rankings last episode. Not rightly because with running back, especially with that kind of injury he had, you just never know if they're going to be that same player again. But if he can show a glimpse of what he was, then he's still a 1,000-yard rusher. And I think for what the injury was and for him to potentially do what he can do this year and play at a high level, I think he would rightly deserve that Comeback Player of the Year, man.
Hear it. I like it. For number 4, we're going to move on to Offensive Player of the Year. I actually got Breece Hall in this one. Back-to-back Jets players. Breece, I think, is going to have a big jump. I'm big on the young guys. I think they have a lot of potential to take this league by storm. But, I mean, you just look at Breece, man, in the passing and running game, he's elite. Averages 5.8 yards per carry in the passing game with Aaron Rodgers. You can just see it there. Great vision, good burst. I feel like the only concern with Breece, just his injuries, the one he had big in 2022. But other than that, man, I think Breece is primed to be consistent and have a big year.
100%. I'm a big Breece Hall fan. I said it last episode that I think in a few years from now, we'll be looking at him as potentially the best running back in football. He's super dynamic, super explosive, and no, definitely he's someone to watch out for when it comes to the offensive player of the year for sure. All right, my guy, LSU's on. I got to give respect to my man, Jamar Chase, man.
Hey,
Um, one of the most explosive wide receivers since day one, since he came into the league. I mean, think about this for a second, right?
right.
The year after they won the championship, when everybody left, Jamar, obviously, he was a sophomore at the time. He was a redshirt, I believe he was a redshirt sophomore, I believe. But
Hmm.
he sat out the whole year, the following year, but was still the top receiver draft pick that year. He sat out the
Facts.
whole next year football and was still the top wide receiver pick.
He's
So
a
that
guy.
is exactly he's like from day one he's been that guy. And I think now I believe in Joe Burrow. Obviously, who doesn't? I mean, you got to believe in Joe Burrow. He's one of the best out there. And with the healthy Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase puts up big numbers. I'm thinking a 16. I think between a 13, 1,600 yard receiving year, double digit touchdowns, offensive player of the year, Jamar Chase.
I like that, and that lines up with my Bengals going to the Super Bowl hot take. Uh, but moving on to defensive player of the year, I got your boy, Mr. Max Crosby. I think it's due, man. I really think he's due. You know, he's 27.
Up
I think
next, bro.
he's been very underrated these last few years. You know, he's 2 time second team All Pro, 3 time Pro Bowler. You know,
Keep going.
he's a relentless pass rusher. You know, strength, technique. You know, he's very good with his hustle. And I think that with that D line, along with him, Jenkins and Christian Wilkins, I think he's primed for a big year, and he is in his prime. So, he's a monster, man, and he's going to get the credit he deserves. So,
100%. Like, I'm going to double that. Obviously, I got the same Max Crosby winning defensive player of the year.
oh, and my bad, not to cut you off.
Mm,
I think he was going to have a much better year than last year, considering he was fighting with that knee injury. You know, he's going to be
mm-hmm.
back in full force this year. So, my
100%.
bad, to cut you off.
And Christian Wilkins as well.
Correct.
Yeah, 100%. I got the same thing too. Max Crosby winning defensive player of the year. And you're right. He kind of in a some way underrated. I think it's
Yeah,
because the Raiders the last few years haven't been like this dominant team, or they haven't been
yeah.
this high powering offense. They haven't really been, and
It's not
plus too,
like
they haven't
the
really played a lot on.
big name, big plays type of, yeah,
Yeah, and they're not on Monday Night Football, Sunday night, Thursday night a
yeah.
lot like some other teams.
Hmm.
But no question, like Max Crosby is as good as any pass rusher in football. Great against the run, great against the pass. Obviously, the guy's motor doesn't stop. I mean, he's 110 every single play. It doesn't matter what it is. So rightfully so, Max Crosby wins his first Defensive Player of the Year and first of many, I believe, for the Mad Max.
The Mad Max, man. Hey, we agree there. I don't know if you agree with my next one though. Offensive Rookie of the Year. We're gonna move on to, but and this should have been on my hot takes to be honest. Jaden Daniels won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know a lot of people would go
Okay.
Caleb, Neighbors, maybe even Marvin Harrison,
Mm-hmm.
but I got Jaden Daniels, man. He's very smart quarterback. Kind of similar, not similar, like in the way he thinks with the decision making. Very similar to Stroud, in my opinion, with being mobile as well. You know, he did great in college. 3,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He's very smart. I feel like he's going to have a very similar year to Kyler's in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
like around 3,600 yards, 23 touchdowns. He's very smart with the decision making. So I'd say about 5 interceptions. But with that defense in Washington, along with Terry McLaurin and that tight end, I think he's going to have a phenomenal year, man. I think Jaden Daniels as well is very underrated. Shout out LSU.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, man, no question. I think he's going to be electric this year. We talked about these young quarterbacks who are coming in. It seems like they're making just instant impacts, and I think Jaden Daniels is the next one in line. He has all the attributes to be great in this league. Everyone knows about his capability, his speed, but a lot of people don't talk about his arm talent. Like he can throw bro, he has an arm, like for real.
Yes, he does.
Like, and he can make all the throws. I think it's just going to take maybe a few games for him to obviously, understand the speed of the NFL and the chemistry with his wide receivers.
Right.
But I think it's a good thing to have a wide receiver like Terry McLaurin, who's one of the better out there, who I think he can obviously rely on. He'll be a security blanket that he can throw to in pressure situations. So, I mess with Jaden Daniels, man. He's gonna be one of them dudes for sure moving forward.
He's one of them
And
dogs.
another LSU guy, man, my offensive rookie of the year is Mr. Malik Neighbors. For me, I just think about it is like he is going to be the main target for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that's true. He'll put up some stats, man.
Yeah, Saquon's gone. Darren Waller retired. I believe they'll just cut Hodges, wide receiver. So all the focus is going to be on Malik Neighbors. He's going to get all the targets to get attention. He's going to be talked about the most on the offensive side of the ball. So I just think just alone with just the amount of attention and targets he's going to get, I think his stats are going to be just even inflated like his rookie year. So shout out to the ex-Tiger, man, Malik Neighbors. I got him winning that rookie of the year.
Yeah, man. I don't. It's hard to disagree with that too, with all the targets he's gonna get. Yeah. But I think to close out the show with the defensive rookie of the year, I think we agree here. I got Terrion Arnold, man. That boy's a dog in Alabama. He's a dog. He's a dog. Okay. Great tackler. He has long arms, good frame, good movement skills. I think he's going to have a real big year this year. Was a safety going into Alabama. I think they moved him to corner. 5 interceptions last year. Looking at it, Will Anderson 23, Salson 22. I think Arnold's right here, prime to be rookie of the year.
I was kind of tossing between the two corners. Quinyon Mitchell.
Quinyon Mitchell. Yep. Literally, that was my second pick.
Because I remember last episode I was talking about the Eagles corners, and it was Cooper DeJean, obviously Darius Slade, and then I was forgetting, Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, I was tossing between Quinyon Mitchell and Terrion Arnold. But I'm going to go Terrion Arnold just because, yes, the Lions brought in Carlton Davis, our cornerback, who's solid, coming from Tampa Bay. But I think Terrion Arnold is going to have more opportunities to really show what he can do because you look at the Eagles, Darius Slade is going to be taking the number one on every opposing teams. Like he's going to take the number one wide receiver. We talked about Avonte Maddox as well, the slot corner. He's solid as well on the Philadelphia Eagles. He drafted Cooper DeJean as well, so he has to get some reps as well. He was a high second-round pick.
There'll be a lot of shared time there.
Yeah, so I think Quinyon Mitchell is going to be sharing some time at that position. I think he's extremely talented, but I think Arnold's going to have more reps his rookie year, more opportunities to make plays in that secondary. So, I'm going to go with him as well. Defensive rookie of the year. Back-to-back corners winning. Not back-to-back corners. Two out of the last three.
Yeah, 2 out of the last 3. Yeah. 2
out of the last 3 winning because obviously Will Anderson was one defensive rookie of the year, correct?
Yep.
So 2 out of the last 3 are corners. And in the good word of Gardner Minshew, just to cap it off, because, I got to talk about my Raiders real quick. Nick, Nack, Paddywhack, give a dog a bone. There you go, bro.
This dude, bro. And that's going to end the show crazy. Today, folks. It's going to be a short episode on episode 8 today. This is coming out to y'all on Thursday. So we are looking forward to the season, man. Week 1, we're going to cover that for y'all. Everything's going to be down in the description. Y'all comment whatever you want. We want to make sure y'all like and subscribe, man. It's going to real good support for us. Keep this coming for y'all. But Caleb, man, any last words for the folks?
Yeah, it is, man. It's a Point After podcast. We've been your hosts, Caleb and Jay, man. Deuces, though. We out.
Peace.